Hello, this is Cousin Russ. I'm going to try something different today, something I have not tried before. I'm going to do office hours. I'm going to do it live and it's going to be recorded. And there's a reason for that, and hopefully that'll explain it. The problem is I have a genealogical question that I'm having a difficulty in answering. And let me show you Family Tree Maker, and I'll change the screen resolution so you can see the details when I get there. But I'm on the tree view, and I have a gentleman who is married to Hester, according to the stories, and that's part of my problem. And he's got 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. The problem is that we don't know the real name for the father, and for that fact, the mother. Um, Good documentation on the kids, which is all good, but the question is who are the parents of any of the 4 children. And I can pick one, it doesn't matter. I'll pick on Alonzo Cordovia Lamar, and I'm going to pick on him. And I see that a couple of people have joined me, and welcome Molly, and welcome True. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking with you, but you certainly ask questions as we go through. This is ad hoc, first time I'm doing this, so my response time may be a little slow because I'm watching my Family Tree Maker screen, and I have my other eye, or my third eye, watching you guys. So welcome. We're going to give this a try. But again, I'm trying to resolve a problem where we're not sure of who the parents of these 4 children are. Now, one assumption is that the oldest son, whose name is John H., and we don't know what the H stands for, which is a different issue, but where the assumption is, and I don't like that word, the assumption is that John is named after his father, and that's a pretty good assumption. And there's some let me show you what Hester looks like on a person view. And I have a bunch of documents that I have found, and that really aren't helpful, except let me bring it in so you can see it a little bit better, that I have her listed with a bunch of different names. I have Hester, I have Esther, I have Hester, I have Hester, I have Esther, Lamar, Culp with a C, Culp with a K. And those are the documents that I've seen so far. So I'm not really, I really don't. And just so you know that I have my research log, and it's right there. It's in the people view, person view, tree view. Yes, the people workspace, the person view, and down in the lower left-hand corner are is the icon for the research notes, and I keep my research right there so that I have easy access to it. So let me back out on my screen share, because I want to work on her husband John. So I'm going to go to John, because what I want to do is go through each of the documents that I've looked at and try to use the genealogical proof standard in resolving this problem. Also, we'll notice, let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit, because I also have some of my questions and comments. My research log is above, but I've made some notes for myself of what I got and what does it show me, and the length of this may give you an indication of the number of issues that I'm trying to resolve. Now, when I posted this recording, I said it was part 1, because what I envision and what I'm going to do is evaluate each of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 documents that I have received, that I've looked at, and I'm going to evaluate each one of them specifically. Now, I'm doing that because Family Tree Maker has this feature, and I would venture to say that most Family Tree Maker users don't even know that it's there. I know that I didn't know it was there, but once I found it, I started to use it, and here is an example of how I will use it. And I want to take this first example because this is probably the best document that I have for this, the identity of the father. And it records the birth of this gentleman, John, being in Camden County, Pennsylvania. Now, if I look over on the right-hand side, and let me zoom in a little bit, and come on, where did my screen share go? There it is. If I look over on the right-hand side, I see that what I'm looking at is a death certificate. That is the image of the death certificate. And I'll look at it here in a minute. I want to zoom back out because I want you to see how I'm going to evaluate this document. Now, what most people don't recognize is that in the right-hand panel, under birth, with the document, the fact selected, there's a bunch of links down here. And the link that I'm going to pick up is this star. Now, when I look at the star, it looks like I can rate it like Amazon or anybody else, where you can do a star notation. And this is the feature which I believe that most people have overlooked. Now, one thing you will notice, and let me see if I can't zoom in a little bit more here. Oops, let me get back to my screen share here. And you can't see, wait a minute, let me back out. You can't, there it is, sorry. There's a pop-out window that says, rate the source of birth of John Lamar. Now, you will notice that there is my citation. So and this is a template, Family Tree Maker template citation for a death certificate. So this is in the proper format. And of those of us, and I know Molly, you're involved with the genealogical proof standard, the first thing you do is cite your source. Well, I've done that, and I've used the Family Tree Maker template. I'm going to stop for a second, and Molly or True, do you have any questions yet?
I had a question, but it wasn't directly related to this. I noticed it on the wife. You had kept all of those different names in her file. I was taught to pick one and dump the rest, so I was kind of confused with that. Is that incorrect? We should keep them all?
No. Well, that's a good question, and let's stick with that question. I'm going to keep with John rather than go into his wife. I've keep it. Here's why. I want you, if you go to this citation, I want you to see the same thing I saw. So I don't dump any. I have the choice of the preferred name. Let me in fact go to the question that you asked, and let me move the screen over so you can see the names. Each of those names has a citation, and I have the choice of which one I believe is the most accurate. So if you went to any of these documents, and the first one is a death certificate, which we're looking at, the next one is I was given to this by one of my classmates. He gave me the name of Esther Lamar, or Hester Culp with a C is what he gave me. I changed there's another source that he gave me that said it was Esther Lamar, which I don't. So he didn't even know what his great grandmother's name was. So each I cite the name, I record and cite the name that's on the document. So I do not dump any. I cite them all. So you can see, if you were to check my work, you would go back and see exactly what I saw. Does that answer your question?
No, so you're basically making sure people know where you got that.
Yep, I want you, if you were to look at my research, I want you to see exactly what I saw, where I got that information.
Okay.
And what I'm walking through is how I made that determination. I'm not going to focus on her name, but if you look at any of the Lamar, that came, Esther Lamar came from a census record because she was married at the time. So the census is going to give me her married name. I had to hunt to find her birth name, which is what I did on this death certificate for their son, by the way. Uh, and Hester Lamar was another, let me see where I got Hester Lamar. Hester was a city directory. The city directory is going to say Hester, widow of, or if she had a job, it would give her name spelled out. Hester Culp was what was given to me by the person. So you can go back into each of those documents and see exactly what I saw. I want you to be aware of what I looked at, and that you won't question what I look at, because you'll see the same thing, or I may have spelled it wrong, which is also possible, but I hopefully will pick that up. Does that help?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. I don't want to change what you do. I'm just explaining how I handle this, and this is probably a good example. If I do another one of these with Hester, I can actually walk through how I determine which is my preferred fact. And I have control based on my analysis at the time of what her preferred name is, and that will change over time. As I gathered information, I changed what I called her in my database. Okay, if that helped, I hope that helped a little bit. Anyhow, not confused you more. So I want to go back to this. I'm going to click on the star. I'm back on the death certificate for that I saw, where I actually saw the birthplace for John Lamar, as it's talked about. So there's my citation for this death certificate. And if I want to look at it, I can always click on it. But here is the feature that I believe that most people don't use. I just clicked on that. It says use standardized rating. And if you are a member of Mastering Genealogical Proof, or if you studied that program, here are the questions that we try to answer. So Molly, you're in that category. Is this image of the death certificate source original or derivative? And by the way, look what Family Tree Maker tells me. It says direct. I'm sorry, I got to select it. If I say original, this source is an original or image copy of the original, or is it a derivative? The source is derived, transcribed, translated from the original. Which is it?
It's definitely an original in this case, if it's a birth or
Okay.
death certificate.
Yep. So see how Family Tree Maker is helping us walk through what we're talking about. Now I'm going to go to the next thing, clarity. Is it clear or marginal? And I will say that it's very clear. I will show that image here in a few minutes. The next question is primary. The person who supplied the source had first-hand knowledge of the fact, or second-hand, the person supplied the source had only secondary hand knowledge of the fact. And when I show you the image itself, you will see that their son, the second son, the fourth child, is the one that supplied the information on his father. So that is actually the grandson of John supplied the information on the death certificate. The next is evidence. Direct, the source plainly states the fact I just entered. Indirect, the source suggests this fact but does not primarily state it. Proof required better or additional evidence for the sources. And the evidence says that he was born in Camden, New Jersey. So I have just now set the what I believe to be the image, and I'm going to justify, and here is the trick that I'm going to use as I go forward with this project. I'm going to justify each fact, each record as I look at them and review it. I am then going to take my work and bring it into Evidentia, which is a program just ideal for this kind of a project, where it's going to walk me through these documents, and rather than me typing it multiple times, I'm going to type it once, and then when I can copy paste from Family Tree Maker into Evidentia. So I'm going to enter, this is a clear image of the Pennsylvania certificate. Number 23282 for ALONZO C. Lamar. Informant was Ralph E. Lamar, his son. So I just clicked OK. Now, just so you know what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open up that image so you all can see the image that I just looked at. So I'm going to open it up, and hopefully it'll show up where you all can see it. And it is opening, but with everything that I've got running to the HOA, it may take a second, but it will open up for me, where we will see the image. And here it comes up. And let me see if I can zoom in a little. Are you able to see that, Molly?
Yes.
Okay. So here in the left corner, it says R.E. Lamar, which is Alonzo's son. It says clearly that the father's name is John Lamar, birthplace of parent, Camden, New Jersey. Mother's name is Hester Culp with a K, who was born in Pennsylvania. So that death record right there confirms, or is what I just evaluated. So I just evaluated this information for John, the father of Alonzo, which is what I have cited. So what I just did was I'm going to cancel this. I want to cancel that. So what I have just done is using the evidence explained, the mastering genealogical proof standard. I just did that, and let me just show up if you can see the whole image of what I typed. Oh, there it is. What I just wrote in there is how I evaluated and used the MGP system that is used. Now, I don't care what family tree maker.
Your numbers are wrong at the bottom. Your numbers are wrong at the bottom. It's two something, not three something.
Yep. Sorry. Thank you very much. 232. Where's dear Myrtle when she can do that? That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And you're absolutely correct. So, but that's how you do it. So I have now just done one of the items that are here. Now let me just do the other two while I'm here. These are two census records, and I'm going to do each one separately. Again, just reviewing, I'm clicking on Add the Standardized Ratings. A census record is original or derivative, and I have the image.
I would say original.
Yeah, okay. And it's clear, and not that you can see the image, but it is clear. It's secondary. Now, the feature that Family Tree Maker does not have, they should have indeterminable, because an 1880 census, we don't know who gave it, but it's not primary, and it does answer the question directly in that it says he was born in Pennsylvania, 1880 census record for John Lamar, the son, because it wasn't this John, it was his son John, indicates his father was born in Pennsylvania. So I can't spell. So I click OK. Now I could do the same thing for the 1910 census, will be for somebody else. And here is the real conflict. You notice New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and France. I got to deal with it, because so far we've got nothing but conflicting information here. So I'm going to do original, clear, secondary, direct, 1900 census record for Alonzo Mar, indicates his father was born in France. So I get a problem here. I've got two census records, and the second census, let me look at this 1880 was his son John. Let's look at the 1910 census. Again, it's nice. Let me bring down so you can see the citation. There we go. 1910 census record for Alonzo Lamar, indicates his father was born in Pennsylvania. So, as you can see, I've been caught conflicting information, and maybe that is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I've got conflicting information that I've got to resolve. And I've just, the residence fact was something that was given by my students. So the documents that I've looked at are a death certificate, an 1880, 1910 census record, and a 1900 census record. So I've got a couple census records and a death certificate. So I cannot let alone answer what his name is, although I think his name is John based on the death certificate, which is why I have it preferred. I did see it, as a matter of fact, on the death certificate, it was spelled John space L-A space capital M-A-R, so the death certificate did have it the other way, but I believe Lamar, all upper and lowercase, is the correct formatting of his name.
Well, the space one would indicate could be French background, so interesting. Yeah, that is an interesting conflict.
Yeah, and so at this point in time, I'm not willing to bet anything on what the right answer is, which is why I'm going through this process. And this is step one. And what I'm going to do is end the broadcast because this is first step, and I will do a couple more of these walking through other pieces of material, especially Esther, whatever it is, a walk through there. I just wanted to take one genealogical question at a time, which is what I talk a lot about whenever we're hanging out talking about this, Molly, right?
Right.
that I'm asking a question. So I'm trying to find out. I want to know more about John, what his name is, but really I was trying to point out that the documents I've looked at has him buried in, born in 3 different places that they're not easy to resolve. So that was the step to resolve that genealogical question, and I will end the broadcast. And unless you have any questions, True, can you hear? I'm assuming you can hear, True. Okay, I see you're shaking your head. Are you able to say anything, or shall we? We're going to resolve that shortly, right? Yeah. Okay. And Molly, do you have any questions so far?
No, I like knowing about the star thing. I can do some work on my own now.
Yeah.
I had never seen that before either. I mean, I saw the star, I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, well, it was like I said, most people don't know that it's there. I know that I didn't know it was there. It was introduced and was not announced when it was introduced, and I put in a request for it, and one of my friends said, "Did you look here?" So I learned. Okay, I'm going to end the broadcast, and True, stick with us, and we'll fix that technical issue. And Molly, thanks for joining, and stick around, and we'll do this again. Thank you very much.
Bye.